he had that too with Hank, and he had it with his dad. He needs a mentor. And that's, when I look at Tiger now, I think the difference between where Tiger is mentally from where he was is he had that person that he could look up to, that person could assist him with getting him on the correct path. The number of times that you heard him talk about how he'd gone to talk to his dad about working on his putting stroke, I think that's important, but I think it was really more of just the conversation. And I think when Tiger finds a mentor, whether it's Butch or whomever it is, then I think you're going to see Tiger start to see that again. As far as what happens with his golf swing, Tiger's golf swing has worked, and Tiger will make any golf swing work with anybody. The whole key to being successful when you're hitting a golf ball, and really when you're doing anything, is having faith in what you're doing and having trust in what you're doing. And if you don't have those two elements, no matter what he's doing, whether it's right or wrong, it's not going to perform under the gun. And I think that's really the area where Tiger has struggled the most. And if he gets that with Butch, great. And if he gets it with somebody else, great. But he's got to find that, my opinion.
Michael, thanks so much. This conversation has been recycled more than plastic or paper, it seems. And we are now joined by a man who has perhaps the greatest insight of anyone in this conversation. Nota Begay with us on set. Nota, you followed Tiger this morning, and you are partially credited, if not fully credited, for this relationship that Tiger has with Chris Como.
Oh, now you're going to throw me as a credit. I see. Here we go. All right.
We're talking credit or blame.
Marshall the Fool.
Yes, I'm going to stand by your man. I'm assuming you're going to do that. I need to ask you a very blunt question. Can we put this conversation to bed? Are Tiger and Butch ever going to be reunited?
No. And for a couple reasons. I think that ship has sailed, and I don't think Butch has a whole lot to gain out of the relationship. I mean, the best he can do is break even. I mean, if he were to take on Tiger as a student and him not get him back to where he was in what we perceive the greatest era of golf, then he's going to have been identified as having failed on this particular task. So I don't think it would be a wise move for Butch, given the sense that he's the greatest teacher that we've seen in recent history, the stable of students that he has now that are in contention every single week, and he's just sort of garnered this stature of being the go-to guy. I mean, he can fix players. You saw improvements in Brent Snedeker. We saw improvements in Suzanne Petterson. It doesn't matter, man, woman, or child. This guy knows how to fix a golf swing. So it would be a bit of a risky proposition for him.
No,
at the very least.
I had two questions, Nota. One is, I mean, none of us expects Butch or anybody to get Tiger back to where he was when he won 7 majors in 11 tries. But to get him back to winning another major would be a huge feather in Butch's cap. And I agree with you. I think Tiger has much more to gain by getting back together with Butch, because Butch might be able to fix him. But my question to you is this. Would Tiger ever, you said Butch wouldn't do it, would Tiger ever take that step and go look Butch in the eye and say, I need you back?
Like I said, I think the ship has sailed, and I just don't like to deal in hypotheticals at this point. What I like to deal with is the fact that I'm seeing incremental improvement. Now, there's an array of missed shots, and what I saw this morning in walking the 9 holes with Tiger and Jordan Spieth and Russell Henley was every single one of the players in the group hit bad shots. It's just Tigers are magnified. We show each one of his shots hit poorly on our air, and it's just one of those things. He understands that he has to come back under a lot of scrutiny, and it's hard to come back. I mean, he had the 2 terrible events at Waste Management and Farmers Insurance, and then comes back at the Masters, which is an extremely difficult place to come back at. And then his next event's the Players, which is one of the most demanding tests on tour, and then the Memorial. So it's not like he's coming back at some of these other venues that are a lot more forgiving and give you a little bit more leniency with regard to errant shots. He's coming back on very hard venues, and it took its toll on him last week. He shot an 85.
Yeah, and these are all his choices. He could play other events, but he chooses to come back at these extremely difficult venues that he has conquered for some 2 decades. Nota, what did you see today? Is he going to be a good fit for this place?
I think it's a better fit than, say, what we'd classify as your traditional U.S. Open setup. There's a little bit more forgiveness off the tees, and the drives that I did see him hit were online. He didn't hit any really wayward tee shots, which I know he did yesterday after I discussed some things with Chris about where I felt they were at. And his iron play was solid. And these players out there, what I noticed, looked like they were cramming, and you've been there at Duke and
I never cram, trust me.
They are cramming for the final exam right now. Even Jordan Spieth, with as much feedback as he's gotten from Michael Greller and having caddied here for quite some time, they're still trying to figure out how to play some of these humps and these bounces and choose their lines off particular tee boxes.
Nota, one of the great things about golf is that it's the ultimate merit system. Everybody starts even this week. What you did last week, last year, a decade ago, doesn't matter now. This is the U.S. Open. What would a successful U.S. Open be for Tiger Woods right now?
I really am looking for that one round where he pieces it all together. And usually when somebody contends in an event, whether it's a major or a regular PGA Tour event, they'll play 3 out of 4 good rounds. Most players will admit, hey, I'm going to struggle 1 out of the 4 rounds, and it's how you do in that poor round. And right now, Tiger's poor golf is really poor, and his good golf is not that great. I'd rather focus on I'd like to see one good round where he hits maybe 8 or 9 fairways, 12, 13 greens, and posts a 67 or 60. I don't know what the scoring is going to be this week, but something in that particular area that gives him that shot of confidence saying, hey, I'm staying the course and I'm getting a little bit of positive feedback from the work I'm putting in.
So it's almost